If you're looking for new horrors to experience, why not stop into your local comic shop? Every week, new horrors are released on Wednesdays, and every Wednesday, I'm here to check them out. Here's what's new in comic book horror this week, January 18th, 2023. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Let's check out this week in comic book horror, January 18th, 2023. Eternal Descent, number 3, is from Opus Comics. The story is by Michael Moreci, with art by Marco Lorenzana. A music history student studies the link between the occult and success in the music industry and decides that is a deal she's willing to take in order to get fame and success towards her own musical career. Nice twist on the sell your soul to the devil plot, and an even nicer cover sporting some of those Phantasmagoria, number 4, is from Scout Comics. The story is by Torres, with art by Joe Bocardo. This one reminds me of the Penny Dreadful series, the first one, not the sequel. It takes place at London and follows a team of paranormal investigators attempting to solve paranormal crimes in a paranormal manner. Sounds paranormal. And I love that black and white cover. HEXWARE number 2 is from Image Comics. The story is by Tim Seeley, with art by Zulema, Scotto, Lavina. Anything can be an app these days. Why can't witches' spells be one? Looks like someone sold their soul and must gather other evil souls in order to get hers back. It's another redemption arc where a not-so-great person is forced to bring in other not-so-great people, or, in this case, monsters, to justice. Sounds cool. I especially like the mix of sci-fi and horror here. The Vampire Slayer, number 10, is from Boom Studios. The story is by Sarah Gailey, with art by Hannah Templar. I never really followed Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I won't be starting now. But this series takes the concept of the next logical step and follows the next Slayer destined to put a dent into the vampire population. NIGHTFALL Double Feature, number 2, is from Vault Comics. The story is by Tim Daniel, David Andry, and Daniel Kraus, with art by Maan and Chris Shehan. Here's another horror anthology pairing two tales of terror in every issue. The Cemeterians, love that name by the way, seems to be some kind of paranormal investigation story where the world is afflicted by something called skeletization, which sounds extremely uncomfortable. Next up is Denizen, that's another fun word to say, about a camping trailer possessed by evil forces and the family who is trying to get away from it. Both sound very creepy, and Vault Comics has been a great place for solid horror these days. The Walking Dead Deluxe number 55 is from Skybound Entertainment. The story is by Robert Kirkman, with art by Charlie Adlard. It's time for another issue of the cheeriest post-apocalyptic zombie story on the stands. I jest, but while this series chugged along after the 50 mark, it did hit a lull between the governor and Negan. This is that lull, unfortunately. Still, if you're looking for the best, The Walking Dead, reprinted now in full bloody color, is still the best zombie book on the stands. Alien number 5 is from Marvel Comics. The story is by Phillip Michael Johnson, with art by Julius Ohta. I'm digging this new story about a military team of synthezoids with a reputation for getting the job done, landing on a planet overrun by xenomorphs. But the art has definitely taken a slide with the loss of Salvador LaRocca. Julius Ohta is doing his best, but even the covers aren't as compelling visually. Maniac of New York, Don't Call It a Comeback, number 1, is from AfterShock Comics. The story is by Elliott Kalan, with art by Andrea Mutti. It's great seeing AfterShock pumping out one of my favorite horror comics despite their financial woes recently. Here's hoping these issues won't affect the third series in the brutal, intense story of a hockey-masked killer rampaging through New York. Nightclub number 2 is from Image Comics. The story is by Mark Millar with art by Juanan Ramirez. I love the concept of a trio of vampires who choose to use their new supernatural powers to be superheroes. It's just another high-concept winner from the king of high-concept comic book writing, Mark Millar. Plus, the comic is only $1.99. Are you nuts? Why isn't everyone buying this one? Millar is practically giving it away. Finally, we have House of Slaughter number 11 from Boom Studios. The story is by James Tynion IV and Tate Brombal, with art by Antonio Fuso and Werther Deladera. This new arc follows a slayer we've seen in this title before, taking care of some of the children who have lost their parents to the monsters. Usually these kids are either recruited into the House of Slaughter or just taken care of in a more permanent and bloody way. This new arc is going to offer an alternative to the very regimented and very deadly House of Slaughter we've followed all through this series. This continues to be a very compelling comic. Well, that's it for this week's haul. I'll be picking up a few of these titles, including House of Slaughter, Nightclub, Maniac of New York, and probably Alien. How about you? Let me know which horror comics look good to you down in the comments.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're